Hi everyone, Aubrey here with the All Ears English team. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today's episode, Michelle and Lindsay are going to teach you how to use the adjective so-called. This is perfect for sharing your opinion in a very native and natural way in English. So give it a listen and then use it in your daily English conversation. And go to allearsenglish.com/fluency score to take a free 2-minute quiz and find out your English level. And you'll also get free resources that we have made for your level. So check it out, allearsenglish.com/fluency score. All right, enjoy the episode.
This is an All Ears English podcast, episode 1513, how to add your opinion with a short and easy adjective in English. Welcome to the All Ears English podcast, downloaded more than 150 million times. Are you feeling stuck with your English? We'll show you how to become fearless and fluent by focusing on connection, not perfection. With your American hosts, Lindsay McMahon, the English adventurer, and Michelle Kaplan, the New York radio girl, coming to you from Colorado and New York City, USA. And to get real-time transcripts right on your phone and create your personalized vocabulary list, try our iOS app. Start your 7-day free trial at allearsenglish.com/bonuses.
Have you ever heard a native use the term so-called? Today, find out what this term is all about, what it really means, and how to use it to insert your opinion in a snarky way. Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Doing well, Michelle. How's everything going on your end? What's up in New York City?
Everything is good over here. Actually, there's a big snowstorm, I have to say.
Oh, yeah. I know my parents said that they were going to get pounded with snow. Oh, my gosh. So are you kind of housebound then in that case?
No, well, I mean, I'm lucky because I live in a city, so everything kind of gets shoveled. And, we went out this morning with my son and watched him in the snow, and it was so cute. And so we already went out today. I have to say, if Dan weren't home, I probably wouldn't have been out because I wouldn't have wanted to handle that situation by myself. But it was fun.
For sure. Oh my gosh. Well, I love the snow, but I like it when it just goes away after a couple of days. I don't want it to linger.
Oh, this is one that's going to linger. Like this will be, one of those where it's like gross.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is that one.
Okay, it's that one. Got it. It's the first big snow of the year. All right. Well, then we can just stay inside and podcast.
Okay, let's do it. So, Lindsay, this is kind of a cool story, actually, because it shows how connected our listeners are and how amazing they are at picking up on, natural English and figuring out really important expressions that should be used. So the story goes like this. I was watching the news recently.
Okay.
And a former reporter used the word so-called to talk about something political.
Right.
And I was like, I love that. We want to use so-called on this episode. Yes. And just the other day, you sent me an email from a listener, Husan, and asking about this expression.
That is so bizarre.
It is, because I was thinking, let's do an episode about it. And then it was confirmed, it's something that our listeners want to know. So it's confirmed in many different ways, right? Like that I heard it. I realized it was important and something that I say, and the listener also heard it.
Husan must be connected in the mind and heart. I love it.
Exactly. So I'm very, very impressed. So Husan, we are soul brother and sister. I guess
soul brothers, soul sisters. I love it.
Soul siblings.
But yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm sure that since Husan asked this, a lot of other students have seen this phrase out in the world. Seems a little weird, right? And want to understand how it's really being used and what it means.
Exactly. So maybe you could read the question for us. But before we get into that, we want to remind our listeners in China that we are on WeChat, right, Lindsay?
My gosh, yes. And this WeChat, more and more people are starting to follow us over on WeChat, guys. So go and find WeChat if you're in China. I'm sure you're already on WeChat if you are. And go and find All Ears English Official. That's the name of the channel. We do 3 or 4 updates a week, and we do summaries of the episodes of IELTS Energy and All Ears English over there. Such good stuff.
Awesome. We love it. All right. So definitely do that. All right, Lindsay, could you read Hussein's question?
All right, here we go. Hello, Lindsay. How are you? I've been listening to your podcast and I really like them. I want to know more about the word so-called and how to use it correctly. Thanks in advance for your help recording a new podcast. Oh my gosh. I can't believe
Crazy.
it. Yeah.
I know. Me too. I was excited when I saw this. So anyway, guys, so-called. So very, very useful, as you can tell. So the dictionary defines it as, I quote, used to show that something or someone is commonly designated by the name or term specified. And another one is used to express one's view that a name or term is inappropriate. Okay, so we're going to go into this more in a little bit. I also saw another one where sometimes people use it before a new term, right? Like, so that would kind of make sense if you're using it before something that's a new term, like so-called. It's like, a new name for this.
Right. Oh, that makes total sense. That makes me think of, at some point I saw a clip of Katie Couric, like what was that show? The Today Show? Where they had just gotten an email and the guy was like, have you heard of this thing called the internet?
Right. Right.
And you know, they could use it there. They could say, oh,
like
the so-called internet, right? When internet was so brand new, we were just getting used to that term. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, I've heard it in many different ways, but I mean, I think of it as almost like a sarcastic, snarky kind of term, but it can be genuine as well, like in that way, right? So we can give you guys a link to, you know, some of the definitions if you want to check it out. So, but I mean, I primarily hear it on the news, and sounds like Lindsay with your Today Show reference that's
And the first thing that we should mention, a pop culture reference, of course, that comes to mind is that show that was out in the 90s, My So-Called Life.
Right. My So-Called Life. I know the name of that, but I don't remember anything about it.
I never really watched it either. I didn't get into it. But if we talk about snarky and sarcastic, she's an angsty teenager, I guess. And so what would she be meaning to say when she says my so-called life?
It's like not really, it's like being sarcastic. I don't know, actually. It's expressing it with an attitude.
It's kind of a twist. Maybe we should have introduced this at the end of the episode once we really understand the term, guys, but just challenging you a little bit here. I guess she's kind of saying, oh, this is what they call life, I guess, but it doesn't feel like my life, right? It feels like some other like whirlwind thing going on. Maybe that's what she's saying when she says my so-called life.
Yeah. So again, like we said, you know, it can be before a new term. It can be used to like show that you think something is inappropriately titled, or it can be used, you know, if you are talking about something that is like a common name. So it's used in a lot of different ways. So let's do some examples.
Yeah, we're going to need some examples today.
And get to it because it can be a little bit tricky, but we're going to clear it up for you guys. Okay. So Lindsay, what's the first example?
Okay. Smith and his team of so-called experts got it all wrong. Okay. So here, right, we're saying they probably weren't very expert because they got everything wrong.
So, yeah. So it's showing you could have just said Smith and his team of so-called of experts got it all wrong. And that would be fine too. But here you're adding in a little bit of a little jab,
personality.
Like a little jab. Like you're like, oh, they're not really experts.
Well, you're adding in your opinion. Right?
Yeah, you are now adding in your opinion instead of just stating a fact. So it's kind of a cool way to express your personality. But yeah, this would definitely be like I'm being a little bit nasty.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what this does, right? It's the function of this phrase. It lets you add your opinion in kind of a snarky way. Yeah. So good. Okay, let's give some more examples. Hey guys, 2020 was a rough year, but we are moving on. So if you want 2021 to be the year that you finally build that level of English confidence, that fearlessness in conversations that you want, then get into our 60-day fluency course where you take a trip around the US from New York City to California to Texas to the upper Midwest to meet and learn from native interviews. The price goes up in 3 days, so get it now. Go to allearsenglish.com/connection.
Okay, so this one is these so-called droplets are what spreads the virus.
So what are we trying to say here? What's the message behind the message?
So the message behind the message here is, I think that like the word droplet became very well known with the COVID-19 crisis.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden you started hearing, I mean, there are tons of different, new words that came out from this. Not that droplet is a new word, but you started hearing it a lot during that time to learn about it. So in this one, this I think is used more in a genuine way before a new term. Like I'm explaining these so-called, like these are what these are called droplets.
Right. And so in terms of timeline, it'd be unlikely to hear this now because we all know we're educated on what spreads the virus, what droplets are. But you might have heard that back in February or March when the research was just coming out of how COVID spreads, right? Because at first I thought, are you being sarcastic? Do you not believe it? Like I wasn't quite sure where we were going with it,
Yeah, no, this one is a more genuine way. So guys, you really have to really think about how it's being used. So yeah, it can be sometimes like, oh wait, which way are they going on this? So you want to think about like Lindsay said, the timeline, right? So with droplets, okay, if I'm saying it like if I said it now, maybe I would be trying to have some sort of attitude. I don't know what I would be trying to express.
Well, there are a lot of deniers out there.
Right, that's true. Yeah, that's true actually, if I said that. But if I'm saying it if I'm on a news report and I'm saying, oh, it's just at the beginning, then it's like, oh, it's kind of it's not a new term, but it's new to this context.
I see. So these are two totally different statements, like different ways to say something, right? The snarky, sarcastic opinion way or the new term way. Okay.
Right. And exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up. So, this so-called signifies something important before a word. So this is important because it's kind of an easy way to either give this new information or to show your opinion. But we're going to now focus more on that sarcastic, snarky way.
Sarcastic. Love it. Okay. Let's go the sarcastic direction, Michelle. Let's give them some more examples. Are you ready for this one?
Let's do it. Lindsay, what's the first one?
So here's one, guys. This so-called great technology really hasn't been working well at all. And Michelle, I think it's really important that, the intonation I use there. How did I introduce that?
You were like, the so-called great technology. You have to kind of say it in that. Because you'll see it in the next example as well.
Yeah.
That it's going to sound very similar, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying like, oh, like maybe the company puts out all this, information about how amazing it is and their advertisements and they talk about this great technology and you're saying this so-called great technology isn't so great.
Exactly. And I did exaggerate that a little bit, guys, but you definitely do need to change your tone of voice a little bit to show that you're being sarcastic. It's not always quite enough to just use the phrase so-called. You need a little something more to give that opinion, give that snarkiness, okay?
Right. I agree. So here's the next one. That so-called sale didn't save me any money. So same idea that kind of.
Yeah, you're really saying something here. You're saying it was already overpriced maybe, right? And or they didn't drop their prices enough or something. Here's another. His so-called gift still hasn't arrived 1 year later. So maybe I'm skeptical that there's any gift in the mail at all. Or maybe I think he's going to give me something that's not really a gift at all. Probably the latter is probably more accurate. I don't think it's really a gift. I don't want this thing, whatever he's giving me.
Right. Okay. Maybe he's just like sending you an old shirt or something.
Yeah. And he thinks I want it.
Right. Exactly. So guys, this is sarcastic. I mean, without it, it would sound maybe a little too genuine, right? So like this, I mean, not genuine, but you wouldn't have that sarcastic kind of So like I keep on making that noise, which is ridiculous. But you know what, guys who are doing the transcriptions, I'm so sorry.
That'll be interesting. I'll be interesting
interested to see how you write that one out. Hello, thank you to those who do our
Thank you to our team, Chris and Katrina.
Thank you, Chris and Katrina, definitely. Okay, anyway, so I'll try and stop making that noise. Like if I just said, oh, this great technology hasn't been working well at all. Yeah, I'm showing that I'm unhappy, but it's missing a little something.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Okay, where can we take this now? Let's go a little bit deeper here, Michelle.
So when I write these role plays, you guys, and I'm sure on the transcripts, you will see them, great technology, sale, and gift written in quotation marks. Right? I'm not sure if we've talked about this before, but sometimes we do use quotation marks to also show sarcasm in writing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and also, yeah. So we also do the gesture, right?
Yes.
The great technology. Yes. We've talked about this before on the show, I think.
Yeah.
How you can't see us now. We should have done this one on video maybe. But
yeah, I know.
We make the quote. I think our listeners know what we're talking about with our hands. We
air
make
quotes,
the quote
that's
mark.
what they call.
That sale didn't save me any money.
Right. Exactly. So that's something that, you could do when you're expressing this. So, just as a side point. So, but I mean, does so-called change anything, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes it stronger. Like we said, this is a way to insert your opinion when maybe there was no other way to do it. You're talking about this new thing and this thing, and then it makes it stronger, makes it snarkier, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. And do you think it's appropriate to use this? I mean, like when would you not use it like that?
I mean, we're sarcastic in American English.
Yeah.
Definitely there's times to do this. I think we have to know our audience. We have to know, is it a good moment for sarcasm? You also don't really want to be seen as a cynical person. You have to be careful. Yeah. Some people it's a fine line sometimes between sarcasm and cynicism.
Yeah.
If you are always being sarcastic in a negative way. So you guys have to monitor who are you around? What have you said before? There's a whole thing of context here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, like with a lot of things we teach, you really have to think, is it okay to use it with a certain person? Do I want to be known as a sarcastic person, right, or is it just something that I want to sprinkle in a little bit?
Exactly. I find that there's some days, I'm generally a very optimistic person, but there are some days I just feel like a little negative and sarcastic, and I catch myself. I'm like, ooh, why am I on this track today? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah.
I've been told just yesterday, I was told by my husband that I'm very sarcastic.
I could see that.
But it's really, he says that it's with my family. Like, we have a very sarcastic relationship. Especially my brother and I have a very, very sarcastic relationship. Like, we don't say anything seriously to each other ever. I don't know if ever once.
That's so funny.
But it's kind of fun in that way when it's with your family.
That is fun. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Well,
yeah.
A quick little role play, Michelle, here.
All right. Here we go.
All right. Oh, I can't believe he did that.
I know. And his so-called perfect grades don't even matter if he acts that way.
So you're saying that he has said he has perfect grades. You're a little skeptical. You're tearing apart his argument of perfect grades, right?
Right. Exactly. So yeah, I'm just like, or maybe he does get grades that are good, but it's like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Like, he's terrible.
Exactly. I love it. Well, Michelle, what's the takeaway for today? This has been a very high level episode for our listeners, I think.
This has been fun. So yeah, Husan asked an excellent question, and I can tell you that it was excellent because it came up so naturally when I was just listening to the news, and that's why I wanted to do this topic. So Husan and I matched on something that we wanted to do on the show.
Very connected.
So very high level, very good. Thank you for the question. We can do follow-ups on this. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, more with quotation marks, other words, but we went over some of the basics. We went over a couple of the definitions that we mentioned in the beginning. And especially the snarkier versions.
Exactly. And now what you guys have to do is try it, right? This may feel like a little bit of a risk because it's quite high level, but just try it. And then it'll just get easier and easier to take these chances with your English. Right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, definitely give it a try. It's fun.
For sure. And guys, go over to WeChat if you're in China and look for All Ears English Official and join that channel. We'll see you over there.
See you there. Thanks for listening.
Sounds good, Michelle. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to All Ears English. If you are taking IELTS this year, get your estimated band score with our 2-minute quiz. Go to allearsenglish.com/myscore. And if you believe in connection, not perfection, then hit subscribe now to make sure you don't miss anything. See you next time.